Imagine this. You are walking across campus. Up ahead, someone's backpack spills open. Papers flying everywhere. People glance but keep walking. You slow down. Should you help? Someone else will, right? What would you do? Would you step in or keep it walking? It's funny because we like to think we'd step up. But in the moment, it's not always so easy. Heroism sounds big, like it belongs to firefighters or comic book characters. What if it doesn't? What if it's something we can train for, like building strength in the gym or learning a new skill? What if we're all heroes in waiting? But first, what is heroism? Do you remember the first time you played a game like Dungeons and Dragons? That feeling where your character has to decide, rush into danger to save someone or hold back to protect themselves. I remember a campaign where our party got trapped in a collapsing cavern. Our paladin had a choice to stay and hold up the ceiling debris so everyone else could escape, or save himself. He stayed. We barely made it out, but we remembered that moment for weeks. It's not so different in real life. Think of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her bus seat, or first responders running toward danger while others are running away. Those moments of courage, the choice to act even when it's scary, aren't that far from what makes a great character in D&D. But here's the thing. Courage isn't born. It's built. Rosa Parks didn't just wake up one day and decide to be brave. She trained for it in her own way, through her values, convictions, and her community. I remember a D&D game where I froze. Our group was surrounded by goblins, and it was chaos. I kept checking my stats, trying to decide the right move. But while I hesitated, our healer just went for it. She jumped right into danger to save another player. It was logical or safe, but it turned the tide of the fight. That game stayed with me because I have had moments like that in real life. Once I saw someone getting yelled at by a group in the library. Nothing physical, but enough to make everyone uncomfortable. I kept thinking, someone else would say something, but not the best. I'm not the best person to step in. And then someone really did. They didn't shout or make a scene. They just walked over and said, "Hey, is everything okay?" And just like that, the tension broke. The bullies left, and the person being harassed got up, smiled like they had been saved from drowning. It reminded me of our healer in that D&D game. Sometimes it's not about the perfect move, it's about any move. But how do we take actions when fear or doubt takes over? Have you ever been in a moment where you wanted to act but couldn't? Maybe you felt that knot in your stomach. Maybe you thought, what if I make things worse? Or maybe you thought, why me? Someone else will handle it. That hesitation has a name, the bystander effect, and we all feel it. But here's where stories, whether in games or real life, can teach us something. In another D&D session, our rogue did something wild. We were up against a terrifying enemy, a dragon, and instead of running away, they threw a dagger at its head. It didn't do much damage, but it gave the rest of us enough courage to join in. That moment turned what felt like a loss into a victory. The same thing happens in life. Studies show that when one person acts, picks up the scattered papers or calls out bad behavior, others are way more likely to follow. You don't have to solve everything alone. You just need to be the first to step up. So what's stopping us? Fear, doubt, maybe just not knowing where to start? What if training for heroism make it easier to push past those barriers? Think about how you train your character in D&D. Maybe you put points into strength or wisdom, learn new skills or equip better gear. What if I could do that in real life? I'll break it down into three skills: mental, physical, and moral training. First, mental training. Have you ever really listened to someone? Empathy is a skill, and it's one of the best ways to prepare for heroism. When you understand what someone's going through, it's easier to see how you can help. Second is physical training. You don't need to be a bodybuilder, but practical skills go a long way. Do you know CPR? Have you taken self-defense class? Even just staying active helps. Think of it like equipping armor. You might not need to you might not need it every day, but when the moment comes, you'll be ready. And third, moral training. This one's tricky because it's about small moments, like speaking up when someone tells a cruel joke even if it feels awkward, or offering to help someone struggling even if it slows you down. Every time you choose to act, you are building your courage stat. So, in conclusion, heroism doesn't look like slaying dragons or wearing capes. Most of the time, it's small, quiet, picking up papers, asking if someone's okay, choosing to act when you don't have to. So I'll ask again. What would you do if you saw someone in need? Would you step in or would you wait? Because the truth is, The world doesn't need perfect heroes. It needs people who are willing to try. What will you choose?